Welcome to the deep dive. So, you're functional in English, right? You can handle meetings, understand the news, get your point across.
Which is a huge achievement, definitely. A massive milestone.
Absolutely. But you probably feel it too, that gap between being functional and, well, true mastery.
That's it exactly. We're talking about the precision, the nuance, the real impact you want your communication to have.
It requires a different set of tools than what got you to this point.
Completely different. It's moving beyond, say, B2 level understanding towards C1, even C2 proficiency.
Being really articulate, persuasive.
And crucially, understanding the subtle stuff, the hidden meanings in what people say or write.
So today we're doing a deep dive, pulling together strategies from advanced English resources, things like C1 prep, TOEFL materials.
And the goal is to give you a clear, actionable guide.
We've got three main areas. First, decoding those hidden layers in language people use.
Second, boosting your active listening skills, really taking information in effectively.
And third, sharpening your own output, making sure your communication lands with maximum clarity and impact.
And we're kicking off with something pretty fascinating, this idea that language isn't neutral. It can be efficient, sure, but it's also used to, well, to evade things.
Like ambiguous headlines, those can be real puzzles.
Definitely. Or the way political and diplomatic language uses a kind of code. It often obscures more than it reveals.
Okay, let's unpack that straight away. Segment 1, decoding the hidden layers, nuance, and subtlety.
Right, and the first piece of this puzzle is often headlines. They're designed for brevity, for punch.
Which means they break normal grammatical rules, don't they?
They do. They often drop articles, the, a, and auxiliary verbs like is or are.
Yeah, you see PM faces backlash over new policy. No the PM, no is facing, it's stark.
It delivers the news fast, but if you're learning and expect standard sentence structure, it can throw you off.
And then there are the acronyms. So many acronyms.
Oh, absolutely. UN, WHO, COP26. If you don't know the abbreviation, you've lost the context immediately.
But the real mind bender is the ambiguity, where the structure itself creates multiple meanings.
Yes. This is where headlines become like little linguistic puzzles. We found some great examples.
Like red tape hold up new bridge.
Exactly. Is that literal red tape physically supporting the bridge somehow?
Or, more likely, is it bureaucracy, the red tape causing delays?
You have to use context, your background knowledge, to figure it out. It's not just about the words themselves.
Or that other classic, kids make nutritious snacks.
Yeah. Are the kids cooking, making the snacks?
Or are the kids themselves the nutritious snacks? Grammatically, it could mean either.
And recognizing that syntax allows for that double meaning, that's a really advanced skill. It's key to not getting tripped up.
Absolutely. Spotting ambiguity is crucial. Okay, so from media headlines, let's pivot to more high-stakes stuff. The language of evasion, especially in politics.
Right. In political or diplomatic circles, words are chosen very, very carefully, often to avoid direct commitment or, frankly, to hide uncomfortable truths.
This is where euphemisms come in, isn't it?
Precisely. You don't hear that someone lied. Perhaps they were economical with the truth.
Huh, yes. Or a government doesn't raise taxes. They introduce a revenue enhancement.
The literal meaning, the denotation, might be similar, but the connotation, the feeling, the emotional weight is deliberately softened, manipulated, really.
And the diplomatic code you mentioned. That sounds fascinating.
Oh, it is. There's established code. For instance, if a communique says talks were frank and productive discussions.
That sounds positive, right? Frank, productive.
It's diplomatic code. It almost always means they argued, probably intensely, and achieved absolutely nothing.
Wow. That's quite revealing about how language functions in those circles. Not just communicating, but managing perception.
Managing perception, controlling the narrative. And a key structural trick for this is the passive voice.
Ah, yes. Mistakes were made.
Exactly. Never I made mistakes or the government made mistakes.
The person or group responsible just vanishes from the sentence structure.
It removes the agent, the actor. It's a classic evasion tactic used everywhere.
But surely, if you're an advanced learner, if you're listening critically, you spot that, don't you? And doesn't that immediately raise a red flag? The lack of responsibility becomes obvious.
It absolutely should. Yes. Recognizing that structure, questioning why they chose the passive voice, that's a higher level of analysis. It shifts your focus.
From just what they said to how and why they said it that way.
Precisely. Which leads us perfectly into connotation versus denotation. the emotional side of words.
Denotation, that's the straightforward dictionary definition. Easy enough.
But connotation, that's the tricky part. It's the baggage. A word carries the cultural associations, the emotional flavor.
And getting this right is critical in professional life, wouldn't you say?
Non-negotiable, especially across cultures. Take a simple example. Cheap versus economical or cost-effective.
They all mean low price, basically. Denotation is similar.
Right, but cheap, that often carries a negative connotation. Poor quality may be poorly made.
Whereas economical or cost-effective sounds positive. Smart, efficient use of resources.
Exactly. Same core meaning, vastly different perception.
And think about describing people. Calling someone stubborn,
Negative connotation. Right. Unreasonable, difficult.
but call the same person determined.
Suddenly, it's positive. Admirable persistence, grit.
So your word choice fundamentally changes how people perceive the subject.
Mastering that emotional precision is key. You want to avoid those situations where you mean one thing literally, but the emotional tone comes across completely wrong.
Okay, that's a great foundation on decoding language. Let's move to our second big area, mastering active intake. This is about how we receive information, especially listening.
And a major hurdle here, even for advanced learners, isn't always vocabulary anymore. It's recognizing words in fast, connected speech.
Right, because people don't speak that word. They link sounds, blend them together.
Exactly. It's called assimilation, elision. Various features. Think about going to becoming gonna.
Or have to becoming have to.
If your brain is waiting to hear the full, clear going to, the speaker is already 3 words ahead. You fall behind.
So exposure is key here, hearing lots of natural speech.
Massive exposure. And not just one accent. You need variety, UK accents, US, Australian, regional variations within those.
Your comprehension shouldn't just collapse because someone doesn't sound like your textbook recording.
Precisely. Which brings us to a very active technique we found recommended, shadowing.
Shadowing, how does that work?
It's essentially active mimicry. You listen to a piece of audio news, a speech, even this deep dive, and you repeat what the speaker says almost simultaneously.
Like an echo, just slightly behind them.
Exactly. You try to copy their rhythm, their stress patterns, their intonation. It's quite intense, a real cognitive workout.
So it's not passive listening, you're physically engaging with the sounds.
Right. You're internalizing the flow, the motor patterns of the speech. It trains your ear to pick up that stream of connected sound much faster. It really boosts comprehension speed over time.
Interesting. Okay, beyond just recognizing sounds, advanced listening is also about critical listening, filtering information.
Yes. Especially today, with so much information coming at us, you have to distinguish fact from opinion.
What are the key signals to listen for? How do you tell the difference?
Well, facts usually come with evidence. Sources, data, specific names, numbers, things you could potentially verify.
Okay, and opinions.
Opinions often use hedging language or specific introductory phrases. I believe, in my view, it seems that many people assume these flag subjectivity.
So listen for those framing devices. And what about bias? How does that creep in?
Often through emotive language. Word choice again.
Back to connotation.
Exactly. Is a situation described as negative, which is fairly neutral? Or is it disastrous? That word carries a strong emotional charge, signaling a particular stance or bias.
So we need to mentally filter out that emotional layer to get to the core information.
Yes. Be aware of how language is being used to persuade you emotionally. Now, all this listening, especially in lectures or long meetings, leads to the challenge of note-taking.
Right. And the goal isn't just to write everything down, is it?
Definitely not. Transcription is passive. Good note-taking is an active process of selection and synthesis. It's about creating memory triggers.
The resources often mention the Cornell method. Can you explain that briefly?
Sure. It's a structured approach. You divide your page, a main, wider column for your notes during the lecture or meeting,
Okay.
a narrower column on the left for cues or questions that occur to you or key terms,
Yeah.
and a summary section at the bottom where, ideally afterwards, you synthesize the main points in your own words. That last step really cements the learning.
That structure forces you to engage more actively, doesn't it?
It does. And within the notes themselves, use abbreviations, symbols. Don't write full sentences.
Arrows for cause and effect, maybe.
Perfect. Or an equal sign with a slash through it for contrast. Capture key names, numbers, main ideas. Your notes should jog your memory, not be a full script.
It's a cognitive tool, really.
Yeah.
Forces prioritization in real time.
Absolutely vital. Okay, that structure naturally leads us to our final segment. Sharpening your output. Taking all this understanding and applying it to your communication.
Making sure we are clear, precise, and impactful when we speak or write.
And the number one rule here, precision. Use specific terms, avoid vague language.
Vague language is the enemy of effective professional communication.
Totally. Don't just say, we need to improve our processes. What does that even mean?
It's unactionable.
Right. Be specific. We need to reduce our customer response time from 48 hours down to 24 hours.
Okay. That gives people a concrete target, something they can actually work towards.
And structure is just as important for output as it is for intake. Think of it as the architecture of your message.
Whether it's a presentation, an email, even a complex comment in a meeting, start with a roadmap. Let people know where you're going.
Yes, and then you need the connections between your points, the mortar between the bricks.
Transitions, you mean phrases like moving on or however or in conclusion.
Exactly. They aren't just decoration. They are crucial signposts. They guide your audience smoothly from one idea to the next. Without them, your argument can just fall apart.
Makes sense. Now, what about actually engaging people, keeping their attention?
That's a real challenge. We know attention spans are, well, not getting longer. Research suggests focus often dips after just 10 or 15 minutes.
So how do we fight that?
Variety is key. Mix it up. Switch between explaining a concept, giving a concrete example, asking a question, even a rhetorical one. Use analogies to make complex ideas relatable.
And clarity, again, linguistic clarity.
Crucial. If you use a complex or technical term, define it briefly. Don't assume everyone knows it. Make your ideas accessible.
Okay. And you mentioned something earlier that sounded a bit counterintuitive for professional settings. Enthusiasm.
Authentic enthusiasm, yes. The research actually backs this up. Genuine interest and passion for your topic often engage an audience more effectively than striving for absolute, polished, but maybe cold perfection.
People connect with authenticity.
They really do. Finally, let's touch on prosody, the music of your voice.
How you say things, not just what you say.
Exactly. Your delivery massively impacts how your message is received. One powerful tool is the strategic use of pauses.
Pausing, how does that help?
A brief, deliberate pause right before you deliver a key point, a crucial piece of data, your main recommendation, it creates anticipation. It signals importance. Listeners are more likely to remember what follows that pause.
Like putting auditory quotation marks around something important.
Kind of, yeah. And think about your speaking rate, how fast you talk.
Is there an ideal speed?
Studies suggest somewhere around 150 to 160 words per minute is often optimal for comprehension, especially with complex material. Too fast and people can't keep up. Too slow and minds wander.
Finding that balance. And what about varying your voice?
Voice modulation. Subtle changes in pitch or volume. It's like using bold text when you speak.
Vocal highlighting.
Exactly. You use it to draw attention naturally to the most important parts of your message. It adds dynamism.
Wow. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. From decoding subtle meanings in headlines and political speech.
To mastering active listening with techniques like shadowing and structured note-taking.
And finally, sharpening our own output through precision, structure, engagement, and using our voice effectively through prosody.
It really is a toolkit for moving from just functional English to being truly effective, confident, and impactful.
And the key seems to be consistent, focused effort. Quality over just quantity, applying these specific tools.
Absolutely. It's about building those C1, C2 level skills consciously. That's what builds real confidence in any demanding English-speaking environment.
You've already built a strong foundation. This is about adding the finesse, the precision tools.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. We talked about linguistic evasion, things like diplomatic code or the passive voice, and about the power of specific language and connotation.
Right.
Thinking about all that, what's one small, subtle shift you could make in your own communication starting today?
Maybe choosing one very specific word instead of a general one.
Yeah.
Or consciously listening for connotation in your next meeting.
Exactly. What's one tweak based on these advanced techniques that might suddenly deepen your understanding, or maybe even change how others perceive you and your ideas?
Something to experiment with.
Yeah.
Give it a try and see what that precision unlocks for you.